Hello ladies and gentlemen. A few months back on this channel I broke character for the first time as a result of hitting 30,000 YouTube subscribers. In this very same video I announced that I was finally going to be quitting retro game collecting. So in today's video what I have decided I am going to do is discuss something I didn't even quite realise was going on at the time, and that was my fight against retro game collecting addiction, a problem I did not even realise I was fully suffering with until very recently. So we are now 4 months on and I've not even purchased one old game, so I'm very pleased with myself. So today I'm going to be talking about that, and also how you too can beat this pointless addiction as well. So before we move on, I would also like to apologise if this video comes across rambly at any points, but I am literally talking from the heart and obviously making everything up as I go along. So in order to look at this we need to go back to 2002, a year I've talked about a lot on this channel, when I was going around boot sales and I noticed that I could suddenly get many of my favourite childhood games for 50p to £1 each. Games for the Super Nintendo, the Mega Drive, the Master System, etc. You could get hours and hours and hours of entertainment for near enough nothing, because nobody was bloody interested. They were too preoccupied with playing games like Halo and Final Fantasy X, Smash Brothers Meal, etc. and everything else was bloody popular at the time. No one wanted these archaic titles anymore. So I took full advantage of this and thought, you know what, these are a fun thing to collect. Not only am I getting a nice physical item, but I also get hours and hours out of entertainment out of everyone I can find. Now I wasn't alone in this, as I was soon to learn, especially with the advent of YouTube, etc. A few years later, channels started popping up such as the Angry Video Game Nerd, and in turn this pushed up the prices of retro games. So it wasn't long before I was happy to pay £10 per game instead of £1. That seemed pretty fair when you consider there was a lot more people suddenly wanting these titles other than myself. The YouTube wheel of momentum, I suppose we would call it, began to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and there was just retro gaming content literally everywhere you looked, and so everyone wanted these games. So by this point I've got a really big game collection. So for the games I want, happy to pay £100 each for the titles I have not got yet, because these games are apparently rare. That's why I've not managed to find them yet. So we've gone probably a span of less than a decade where I was happy to pay £1 per game for it to just become completely normal for me to pay £100, because I felt I needed these games amongst my collection so that I could play and enjoy them. And I did try and quantify this in my head in a number of ways, why this was perfectly normal and a sane thing to do. For example, I would say to myself, £100 is nothing for one of these games, because like I said, you get hours and hours and hours of entertainment out of it, and everyone else wastes their money on complete crap as well. So that's half the problem. I was literally looking at it from the perspective that everyone is wasting their money, which I do believe they are, but that's because everyone is bloody addicted to retail. We've got this huge problem in Western society where all of us are just powered and motivated by physical gain. In fact, this probably isn't even so much a Western problem, it's a human problem in general. We are come from hunter-gatherer tribes, don't we? So we are literally bred to gather absolute crap. But the reason why I bring this to the West in particular, because in most Western countries it's very easy, if we work, to be able to afford a roof over our head, food and water. Pretty much all of us have that here, which means everything else we earn is literally earned to throw down the toilet at corporations, etc. That is what powers the West. Spending on absolute crap. Like, you look at people outside of the gaming circle, they're all wasting their money on some sort of crap. You've got many people out there who literally just waste all of their hard-earned money on clothes and shoes, and in abundance. Like, that's even more bloody useless than games, because at least with a game you get hours and hours and hours of entertainment out of it. An item of clothing is literally just a rag. Or you get all those strange people as well who spend a fortune on just cars, and all cars do is drive you from one point to another point, and every car is exactly the same. So driving a car what's worth £1,000 or driving a car that's worth £100,000, it's still going to take you to the same destination. So as pointless as game collecting is, a lot of people use their retail therapy addiction on even more pointless stuff than retro games. So whilst I call this a retro gaming addiction, it's really just a retail addiction in general. And something which I've compared this to on my channel in the past is we take part in this retail therapy almost as a coping mechanism, because we're wasting so much of our life doing trivial mundane tasks, working our 40 to 50 hour jobs every single week. So if we spend all of that time, and we can now easily afford our food, our drink, our roof, we're just going to be like feeling sorry for ourselves and wanting to make ourselves feel better by buying absolute rubbish. Like, even if you end up earning fortunes upon fortunes, what do? You just spend that money on a bigger house. And then once you've got a bigger house, you just buy even more crap. We literally live in a cycle of crap. And when I come to this realization, which I think most of us know anyway, we just choose to indulge in it because that's just the way of life in the human race, sadly. But when I came to that realization and worked out that I've got a way out of it, that helped me break my addiction to this repetitive cycle. I'm very, very fortunate in the fact that I have a YouTube channel, and I'm starting to gain a large subscriber base. And because of that, that breaks the tie of me permanently being stuck in a 40 to 50 hour job, working in one location every single week with only 2 to 4 weeks off like most people in Western society. But finally I have broken that cycle. So now I'm a YouTuber. I can technically earn that money from any location on planet Earth and move around all I like. So that's what I'm going to do. But I realised in order to be able to do this, I need to stop wasting so much money, and especially if I'm not going to have a solid base to live in anymore. If I've not got a solid base, I can't buy all of this crap, so I need to stop. And it wasn't long before I realised that I just don't need any of this, and I've just become addictive to quite damaging way of life. And I'm very, very lucky and fortunate that I've got an actual opportunity to get away from it all. Now, I have travelled the world previously, and I've been to countries like Thailand, Romania, and many others where the cost of living, if you're earning Western money for something like YouTube, is very, very low in comparison. Like, I can buy exactly the same product in Thailand what I can buy in England, but get it at a ridiculously cheaper rate. Like, if I want to buy a can of Coke in England, I'm looking at paying about 80 pence. If I want to buy the exact same can of Coca-Cola in Thailand, I have to pay about 15 pence. We are literally getting ripped off on everything. It's just ridiculous. And the same goes for living costs as well. Like, are you familiar with Canary Wharf? Now you can't actually answer me, so maybe you can just type in the comment section. But Canary Wharf is a region located in London, and the cost of living there is absolutely astronomical. It's all of these skyscrapers with luxury flats, and you're looking at paying thousands upon thousands upon thousands of pounds to even rent one of those a week. I rented out a flat in Thailand, and it was literally only costing me £10 a bloody night, despite the fact that it was a short-term let as well for only a couple of weeks. £10 a night. So even though I'm not earning hardly anything on YouTube, if I take that money to the east, or even the east of Europe, it goes absolutely miles. And without a gaming collecting addiction, I don't have anything to even spend my money on, because that's what I've been wasting all my money on over the years, is buying these pointless trinkets. So now I no longer need these trinkets. I essentially am free in a literal sense. I will be free to live anywhere I want on Earth and work remotely from a laptop. Like, seriously, what could be better than that? It's ridiculous when you think about it. And to be fair, as I said, you too can probably beat these ridiculous addictions. If you suffer from them, you probably too are wasting all of your money on something stupid you do not really need. And that's all partially down to the fact that you're probably working too many hours and you just need something to spend your money on. So if you are looking to beat your addiction, what I would say you need to do is really think about something you would absolutely love and desire, and something what probably doesn't even cost money in the first place, because most material possessions are ridiculous when you think about it. Now, I'm probably sounding like a raging bloody hippie by this point in this video, I would assume, but I really am starting to pull this off. Like I said, since I've stopped buying all of these retro games, I've started to build up a large pillow of money in the bank, and it will be 5 months time until I'm all set to freely wander planet Earth making YouTube videos for a living. And the costs will be lovely, because I will be in places where I can buy myself dinner for 50p. Now, what would be more luxurious than that, ladies and gentlemen? And if I want to carry on playing games, you can anyway, due to all the wonders of emulation. But that's a video for another time altogether. So I hope this hasn't been too rambly, ladies and gentlemen, but that is my story on how I beat gaming addiction and how I found out, or discovered really, that there is something I desire in life far more than material.